Hey guys, it's Sunday, March 18th. It's going to be another game, another replay. This is from, again, the Team Liquid replay pack. I really love it when these teams put out these replay packs. And it's going to be some Korean player versus LiquidHaypro, since this week's replay pack was from LiquidHaypro. So that's why we see a lot of Liquid games here. And Haypro is underrated by many people, but he is very good. He's very good in the long term of the game as well. He just hasn't shown too many tournament results, so that's probably why he's underrated, but he does play quite well. His opponent is going to be playing Terran, and this is the map Cloud Kingdom, so we're going to be seeing this game here. I believe this map was created by some kind of map making tournament on Team Liquid, so it's really nice to see Blizzard incorporating these user made maps into their map pool. We're going to see a couple of new maps next season, I believe, based on the information given on the Blizzard website. They're actually taking votes on what map to remove. I know some people don't like the idea of removing the Shattered Temple, as it is the new version of the Lost Temple, but that's the map that I did vote for to be removed, because I believe it is the most imbalanced map, or the least fun to play on, at least, because of the rocks and stuff like that. So over here, our Korean player, he's throwing up his barracks up at the front. He has also got his supply depot up in the back. This barracks will form a more solid wall against banelings, and Haypro over here throwing down his expansion hatchery. There's no pool just yet. He's getting gas first, so we are going to be seeing a speedling opening. No scout from our Terran player until just now. He will be able to arrive and see exactly what's going on. His first Marine is on the way, and his orbital is coming up at a standard timing. If you guys are getting your orbital anytime later than 16 food, you're definitely getting it way late than you should be, and that does create a lot of a mining problem, especially for you Terran players in comparison to other Terran players especially. Haypro's hatch is just about to finish, and the SCV does arrive to check things out. This Korean player does have the option of actually walling this off with a couple of bunkers, but he is going for the factory. Pool is just about to finish, and Haypro is just about to have 100 gas as well. Based on the production, I do believe Haypro will be going into a longer term game. He's throwing down the queen right now. He's also taken guys off of gas. This will give him quite a bit of a mineral boost. The factory is going to begin walling this off. There is a little gap over here for a Korean Terran player, but it's not going to cause him too much trouble, as our Zerg player hasn't really finished speed yet. It's only now just started. He doesn't have the production to pour on the pressure, but I do believe our Terran player would like to wall this off eventually, or risk a major Zergling counterattacks, and that's not really nice to deal with. Over here, he's also throwing down his starport, so he is going 1-1-1 as of this point. Hellion is coming out. Interesting to see no sort of add-ons here, no tech lab or reactors, kind of expecting at least one of the two. However, he is going starport, so we'll see what he decides to make with that. But even with starport, I'd like to see some kind of add-on to better help spend money, or tech a little bit faster perhaps. Go for a Banshee without cloak, as he does not have the second gas. And there's the first Hellion checking out Haypro's base. The queen is on site to be able to deal with this. Another queen now popping out. The spine crawler does finish up, so Haypro will be able to defend. That was pretty close to actually losing a queen if he hadn't controlled that very well. Medevac now on the way for the Terran player, so that's very interesting. We may see an elevator play into the main, where the queens may not be able to reach just because there's no creep spread just yet into the main. Nothing connecting the two bases, which is very necessary in this game. We also have the command center now under construction. Overlord over here for Haypro. It does see the minerals here, so he will be able to click on those to see exactly if his opponent is mining from the natural expansion. Just taking a little bit of map control here. HayPro throwing down additional gases, perhaps going to be going up to lair tech in just a few minutes. We also have a macro hatch inside of the main. I'd really like to see HayPro drop a creep tumor to connect the two bases. He does have that extra queen to be able to spread that creep quite well. Another spine crawler is on the way. A third spine crawler coming up, I believe, because HayPro is not seeing this base here. But it's just slightly delayed due to the Terran player going for a really funky opening here. It looks like he will be going into mech. He is researching the Blue Flame Hellions. HayPro's spine crawlers up at the front, and there is that medevac drop headed into his main. Zerglings are ready for it, though. I believe he may have spotted it somehow, or at the senses to be able to know that there was some kind of drop on the way. Looks like the float out from the command center. Interesting that he did not turn that into an orbital command before. It's always worth it to turn it into an orbital command first, as you're not going to get too much extra mining out of the base at the beginning, so it's really worth it to actually have that mule. And the Zergling is able to deny the drop. Where did that drop go? I guess it went all the way back home. Where's the medevac? There it is, dropping off back at the natural expansion. There are so many Hellions out in the field right now for our Terran player, but there's plenty of a wall over here for HayPro, and if he keeps his lings inside of his main, he should be able to deal with any sort of Hellions drops, as they do drop one by one. There's the scan going down. He's going to be cleaning up a couple of these creep tumors, denying that creep stride, making sure that Zerg is able to be a little bit slower off of that creep. Couple of banelings being morphed by HayPro. He does have the baneling speed on the way, which tells me that he is getting a spire tech somewhere, I think. Don't exactly know where it is. Let's take a look at the units tab. This is new over here. I've never pointed this out before, so this will be the first replay that I do point out the larva count. So I see here the larva. There's 9 larva on the field. It's always good to stock up larva when you're max on food, but if you're stocking up plenty of larva and you're not spreading the creep, that's also a bad thing. So that's something that we can probably gauge Zerg players on at a later time, as we do not clearly understand the little bits and pieces of how good creep spread is and how good it is to have a lot of larva sitting out front. So that's just another tool to help players get a little bit better at this game. Banelings and Zerglings are waddling their way across the map. A couple of Hellions still sitting back. And it looks like another Hellion drop is coming back home. A couple of mutas are on the way, and HayPro spreading out his units over here. He doesn't know about those Hellions. I guess he sees them over here with the spine crawlers, but he isn't too worried about it. He does have a pretty good spread over here. The Hellions now returning home, but the banelings do have the speed. The Hellions trying to clean up a couple of those Zerglings. Looks like the 3 Hellions will be able to return home. But that was a pretty good play by HayPro, spreading those units out. Going to be able to pick off a couple of units. And over here, our Terran players actually getting out a couple of Thors, and a third base is now being taken by HayPro. I don't quite like the location of this base, because it is more exposed than this one over here. It's closer to the Terran player, making it easier to harass, and a couple of Hellions will probably go scout it right now. Mutas are out in the field, so those Hellions will be forced to return home. Thors are on the way, or finish up. There's a couple of Thors finished. Looks like he does not have the Collector's Edition. The third base is on the way for our Terran player. Zerg would like to stay ahead of that, so I'd like to see HayPro probably sense this and throw down a 4th base. Melee attacks +2 on the way. Also the flyer attacks level 1. One Thor doing a lot of damage to a couple of those mutas. HayPro doing a pretty good spread on them, making sure that only one of them gets hurt at once. SCVs are up at the front, going to be repairing a couple of those Thors up. There are 4 Thors out in the field right now, so this could spell some trouble if our Terran player decides to make a really strong 2-base push as he secures his 3rd base. HayPro now throwing down his 4th hatch, and the Muta's going to be harassing around here. Looks like they will be able to pick off the SCV constructing this command center, and the Thors, they're just a little bit too slow. The mutas can probably swing to the side, clean up a turret, and probably try to pick this off. Haypro clumping up the mutas just a little bit. A couple of Hellions trying to advance onto the creep. Over here, looks like the Zerglings and Banelings will deny that. Mutas coming back just to pick off the Hellions. For the moment, a floating barracks is guarding the destructible rocks. This will allow the Terran player know when to lift those supply depots. Haypro just checking for that third base with the mutas. He is beginning mining at his fourth base as well. This will give him quite a strong economy for the late game. I'd like to see him probably throw down an infestation pit somewhere. Unless he already has it. I don't think he actually has it anywhere. A couple of Hellions dropping off in the main. Looks like the Zerglings and the mutas are not quite in range of that. Haypro running his drones around, letting the Queen do some damage here. One Hellion roasting away at that fourth base. Will it get any kills? Looks like 3 kills on that one Hellion for the moment. The mutas coming back home. Looks like that Hellion will get cleaned up. The workers kill tab, our Terran player has killed 13 workers, but Haypro looks still okay after that. A couple of additional factories coming up for our Terran player, and the Thors kind of waddling around here. He really needs to secure this third base real soon. His main is running dry, and Haypro is continuing to secure more and more bases, about to max out at 193 food. And our Terran player not quite spending those scans here. Maybe he's afraid of some Banelings. Looks like the Muta is going to be able to poke in here, do some damage here. A lot of SCV is going to be falling over here for our red Terran player. He does have a couple of Thors, and they will slowly move back into the natural expansion, taking one shot at those Mutas, but not too much damage dealt, as Haypro did have those spread out quite well. 12 workers now killed by Haypro, and he is going to magic box one of those Thors. Looks like it will fall quite rapidly, and Haypro going to do a ton of damage to that SCV line. Let's take a look. 28 workers killed by Haypro. The 2 Thors trying to do as much damage as possible. A 5th base now being taken by Haypro. And the problem with this Terran composition here is that he's against a max Zerg army, and also that Thors are not quite good at dealing with Zerglings. A couple of Roaches now out on the field. Haypro going to burrow all of his drones, making sure that they do stay alive. They will drop off at the natural expansion though, but Haypro, very nice burrowing there. Looks like he will be continuing to roast away because there is that Queen there, and Haypro will take a little bit of splash damage, but not quite losing any too many drones. Our Terran player is still being forced to sit back because he has got all of these Thors and he doesn't want to lose his bases. That does allow Haypro to bank up 4,000 minerals. Surprised that he hasn't actually taken these gas, only now taking them. He would be able to get more Broodlords out in the field sooner if he had actually taken those bases, but it looks like he won't even need it. The Roaches and the Mutas streaming in here. Are there enough Thors to actually deal with this? I don't think so. Haypro dealing with unsieged tanks and Thors with a ton of Roaches, so it looks like he should be able to kill off quite a big portion of this army. Now replenishing with 50 Zerglings, and the third base now being mined a little bit slower. The Roaches are returning over here. A couple of idle SCVs as well. The Thor is so slow that the Roach is going to be able to clean up a couple of these units before the reinforcements do actually arrive. And now is the time when Haypro does want to be banking up a lot of larva, which he isn't, and that's not quite as good as we would like. He'd probably like to see probably 50 some larva, but he did just make a full army of Roaches and is now maxed out once again. I don't think he actually has an okay, no, he does have an infestation pit. I just didn't see it go down, but there is a hive now on the way. He should be teching towards that greater spire. 22 more Zerglings on the way, and it looks like Haypro will be trying to bust this location. And our Terran player doesn't have siege mode. This is really bad. Here come all of these Zerglings and the Thors. I don't know if he's going to actually be able to clean this up. The Baneling is going to work on that Thor as well. That Thor takes a million hits and does not die. A couple of Sea Shanks coming up as well. The Overlord's getting in on the mix. and it looks like our Terran player is just going to be completely overrun. There's nothing that he can do, especially with Siege only now finishing up, and the Terran vehicle plating level 1 now being started. A couple of Hellions remaining, but HayPro is going to be able to take this game down. There's one Siege Shank remaining, but this game is definitely over. Greater Spire now under construction. I just don't see him winning this. He's got this one Siege Shank up on the high ground, but he's going to have to kill 100 supply of units if he wants to win this game. A second Siege Shank now coming up here, but our Terran player just barely hanging on. I don't even know if he's just hanging on or anything. Looks like HayPro will be remaxing with Broodlords. He's just waiting for the tech to come up. He hasn't built too many other units. A couple of roaches now arriving. And by a couple, I mean around 20 roaches. Looks like Siege Shanks on the high ground, able to do a ton of damage. 18 kills, 6 kills on the Siege Shank over here. More Siege Shanks popping out. And our Terran player now down to 43 supply. Not too many SCVs remaining on the field for our Terran player. Let's take a look at the units tab over here. 13 SCVs remaining. Siege Shanks now on sieging, maybe trying to do a final push here. He needs to get that orbital command repaired. 50 life left on that. Hopefully he will be able to land a mule. Looks like 33 food. 33 health, and it looks like that mule should save this command center, and there it is with only 20 health left. He will begin saving that command center, and HayPro taking a 6th base of his own. No SCVs mining over here at this 3rd base. HayPro very healthy at 166 food. Now making 3 Broodlords, and this should end the game if our Terran player sees those. And 7 Broodlords out on the field right now, and a couple of roaches popping out. HayPro spending most of that bank to get this gigantic, powerful army. He's got the Broodlords out in the field, and he should be pushing this location shortly. And our Terran player doesn't really have any of the resources to make Vikings to deal with these Broodlords. Siege Shanks now unsieging, and GG. This game does easily get taken by HayPro. It just didn't seem like our Terran player had the response to be able to deal with this mass macro style. He wasn't really able to deal too much damage, so HayPro just completely unstoppable at the end of this game. So I hope you enjoyed that. We'll post additional games coming up. So I'll see you guys tomorrow on Monday, March 19th.